Louder with Crowder is brought to you in part by .com. Head over to the shop, support the fight, and buy some cool threads. It's the Tits Pajamas. .com. It's June, which marks Louder with Crowder's 6th annual Cultural Appropriation Month, where we take you across the globe to learn and appreciate all the diverse cultures this planet has to offer. Because to appropriate is to appreciate. This week, allow us to get you acquainted with the land that brought us philosophy, lesbianism, and national bankruptcy, Greece. Oppa!
Hey!
Hey, that's
Very Greek slurp.
Yes. That's a good thing to be known for, and nothing else in the modern world.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
too bad.
Greece has done a lot, just not much since the abacus.
Well, it was
True.
a good invention.
It is Cultural Appropriation Month, so before we get to a recap of Biden and Putin, which is important, and we're also going to be talking about the new domestic terrorism, I don't know what you call it, watch policy? This is from whitehouse.gov, and it should terrify you. It's time for some Greece facts.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And, of course, many of us, we're going to have a costume contest for you. So you can send in your costume, and we'll read the winner on Mug Club. So many of us know that ancient Greece was made up of sovereign city-states like Sparta and Athens. But scholars actually estimate that there were about 1,500 individual city-states.
That's
Wow,
a lot.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Greeks performed the first nude scene in the history of European cinema in the film Daphnis and Chloe.
Ah.
And Mamma Mia, many know, was filmed in Greece, but unfortunately no one was killed during the making of that film. So that was a tough one. We have Gerald A. is here.
Hey.
I don't know. Did he get the message?
No, he never does.
No, guys, Greece.
Stop moving. Stop moving.
Greece.
Danny Zuko.
By the way, this is not a joke. I don't know how I feel about the fact that the one person who has to be a statue all show is the intern with actual Tourette's.
It's true, yeah.
Ah.
I don't know what part of him's going to twitch the most.
Oh, no.
Corey Black Carrot, how are you?
What's going on? Opa!
Hey, he added some twang to
Yeah.
it. And Dave Landau is here. You can follow him on the Twitter.
Ahoy, Upa Saganaki.
I don't even know what that means. It sounded. Is that all Greek?
Saganaki is what you light on fire before saying Upa. It's the flaming cheese.
That's like baked
Should've known
Alaska.
that,
Yeah, it's like the original grilled cheese.
Only more poor.
Yeah.
I don't know how you make a grilled cheese sandwich more poor.
No,
an
you
American
can't.
grilled cheese. You have a show. They added a show, right? In Water.
They did Waterford this weekend, 9 p.m. show they added for Saturday. Come on out.
Okay, all right. That's going to be a lot of. Yeah, they had to add a show because it's full, and I highly recommend it. Dave is quite the character.
He's funny.
He's
Hey.
quite
Funny
the
man.
cut up and stand up. And you can follow us, by the way, on Instagram, TikTok, even though it's destroying society. I figure I'll fight the Chi-Coms where they be.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
And the best thing you can do is it's a live show, Monday through Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Before we move on to Biden and Putin, which was incredibly embarrassing, we were streaming it live yesterday in real time.
Not good.
And what's interesting is as we were streaming it live, I was saying, Putin is flexing right now.
Yeah.
He's insulting the United States. He's implying that the United States are the real terrorist actors. He's throwing this back in Biden's face. And then all of the coverage was, huge victory for Biden.
Of course it was.
It's the same thing with election night.
Yeah.
That's the value of why we do this live. And for people who don't know, YouTube values live streaming right now.
Yes.
They're really trying to move into that space. Anytime you go to the live page, we're usually number 1 and 3 and like several.
Yeah.
And that's why they're like, what can we do? They changed the live page to just remove us,
Oh, my gosh.
which is fine.
Well, no, but you
Kind of
remember.
flattering a
But
little bit.
election night was a perfect example where we covered the votes coming in, where we were going, well, it looks like Donald Trump's going to win Michigan. We're like, 163,000. How did
What?
That just happened right now?
They announced it on many liberal news sources.
Yeah. No, Michigan, all of these things. And so we experienced it live. That's why it wasn't taken down, because it wasn't considered a conspiracy theory, where we were all going, that seems a little shifty.
Yeah. Well, and when you see live with us, is us commenting on it, like the headline when it came up, like Biden is complimented by Putin on his morals, and it was like, wait, what?
Tell us more about your summer.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you guys think that's the win because Vladimir Putin said, well, he's a moral man. I can work with this man.
Tell me more.
What?
Hey, before we get to that, though, it's time to react to this. This is on TikTok. It's Pride Month. This is this has been making the rounds on the TikTok where I am, and I hate myself for it. It's a gay song encouraging you to also be gay.
I am gay. Are you gay?
You didn't have to tell us.
And if not, would you like to try to be gay? We're taking new applications and it's really
So it's a
fun.
choice?
You get magical powers and free honey buns. Your mom is gay. And so is your dad. If you're not gay, it's really too bad.
Gosh, if I were a woman, I would be so offended now.
Oh my
Gosh. This is all the splendor that is womanhood. Clown makeup?
I'm offended by how nice his house is.
Yeah, look at the spiral staircase and everything.
This guy got a chandelier.
Complete lack of talent?
Was that
Your
Stanley
mom
Tucci?
and dad. What rhymes with that? If you're not gay, that is too bad. Hold on a second. I know he's saying we're accepting applications.
Right.
At what point does an immutable characteristic become a choice? Is he saying you can choose to
Weird,
be gay?
yeah.
Also, is he really immutable or can we mute him?
What?
A little
easily-
mutable.
But why is he dressed like it's the 17th century mixed with clowning?
Yeah, well,
Well.
that's a black guy, too.
No.
What?
Wait, no. We're saying, no.
No.
This is
I was about to
Beauty
say-
and the Beast, where Mary J. Blige is a bookcase that turns into a queen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hashtag Oscars too white. I'm like, it's 1740s France.
You ain't black.
Oh, boy, that reminds me of a
TikTok.
clown I had at my birthday party when I was 6.
Yeah, only it wasn't your
Equally
birthday.
terrifying.
And it wasn't your half birthday
And
either.
it was only really a party for him.
That was
Yeah.
it was the clown's party.
Hey, by the way, I want to ask, this is a question for everyone out there. Have you seen the reporting on Biden and Putin? And I want to be clear, no one here is rooting for Putin. I wish that he respected our president.
Right.
I just think that he clearly doesn't, and we'll get to all of the clips that are relevant from yesterday. At least what I think. We have all the sources available at louderwithcredit.com. Comment below. God, we're all going to die.
I wish the Russian people had the balls to get rid of him. I really do.
Your statue's itching itself.
Stop it. Is that a normal itch or is that a Tourette's itch?
I think it was a Tourette's itch.
That was it. That was a test. Don't talk.
Oh,
Gosh.
Dude, he failed the first test.
I didn't say Tourette's says.
He's wearing a lot of makeup from all the black eyes Steven gave him in rehearsal.
All show. Try the fish. Okay, so over the weekend, I don't know if you know this about the island of Lesbos, but 4 Afghan Utes were given the maximum sentence, 10 years in
wow.
jail. Yeah, for burning down the Moria, or is it Moria?
It's Moria.
The Moria migrant camp on the island of Lesbos, actually. And this happened in September 2020, and then they were just sentenced, I believe, over the weekend. Here's a clip of the fire that they set, island of Lesbos. They're all going to the TikToker premiere.
Oh, it's the Fire Festival.
All right, that's enough. I think.
Is that the Subaru factory?
Yes.
Hopefully.
We'll take out the transportation hubs.
Yes.
it's Subaru. Nobody
And
cares.
Orvis. They won't be
Burn
able to
down
wear
the
anything.
softball maker.
So a lot of people don't realize the word lesbian, while we're doing Cultural Appropriation Month, Greece, it comes from the island of Lesbos.
does,
yes.
Which was the birthplace of the Greek poet Sappho. And
Which
it was
was
sort of, it was the first discovered lesbian by Galapagos. And actually, this is a lot of people don't know this. Actually, Lesbos, that's why it's called that beautiful, obviously, Mediterranean island. And because it's Cultural Appropriation Month and we need to blow some budget this quarter because of the new tax policy, we actually have some Lesbos residents in their natural habitat.
The last one. I told you to get a whole 30-pack.
By the way, I don't know, the one on the right just took Heidi Klum's job.
Man.
Are we talking about that? Victoria's Secret is no longer good.
No.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're
why?
getting rid of the angels and replacing them with lesbians. We'll talk about that in a little bit, why everything has to be ruined. But
flannel underwear.
yeah.
Can't wait.
Gonna be
So
exciting.
sexy, yes.
Yeah. Fredericks of Hollywood is just a model named Frederick with preferred Z pronouns.
Just selling Doc Martens.
What's the season this year? It's Crocs.
I think you should go with some khakis.
Crocs. It's functional. Shut up. So, yesterday, Biden and Putin, they held separate press conferences. That's always a good sign.
Yeah.
After the meeting, now note, of course, Trump and Putin held a dual conference. I want to go back to 2018, and of course, in case you've forgotten, CNN lost their minds. This is then.
You have been watching perhaps one of the most disgraceful performances by an American president at a summit in front of a Russian leader.
You are fake
that I've ever seen. An extraordinary press conference.
Go back to your repurposed firehouse, you East Village.
Unbelievable.
Go ruin New Year's Eve.
I want it to be 2020.
The only reason he
still.
signed that contract was because he thought he got to see Dick Clark's balls. He showed up, he went, man.
Not again.
Oh, Gene.
The good news, we got Kathy Griffin, and he's like, oh, God. Even him.
It's got worse.
Okay, so this is a little bit long, but I want you guys to see this. And again, we have the sources available at louderwithcrowder.com, so you can watch the entirety of these press conferences. Putin took substantially longer.
Yeah.
Although Biden took substantially longer to make his way to the podium.
It was
Hours.
Yeah.
But mainly Vladimir Putin. If people are talking about how we need to have a commander in chief who is tough on Russia, tough on Putin. Look, he spent most of his press conference, we were there live, crapping on the United States and very clearly taking shots at Biden, which the leftist media took as compliments. Look, when he says he's an experienced statesman, when Putin says that about former Vice President Joe Biden, he's calling him a swamp creature. Because this is what you have to have historical context. He complimented Donald Trump, remember? By saying he's a businessman and he approaches it from a business sense. So this is good. This is refreshing. They go, what do you think about Biden? He is experienced. As a matter of fact, all he ever has done is D.C. So, no, that's great. That's great. No. It's impressive.
Yes, I've killed people, but your president is a scumbag.
Yes.
It's fine.
I've killed people, Anderson, who could fit you in their back pocket.
Yes.
So here is a montage, just so you can see the highlights from Vladimir Putin dumping on the U.S. and showing his respect for former Vice President Biden.
Everything that happens in our countries, one way or another, is the responsibility of the leaders themselves. Look at the streets of America. Every single day there are shootings and killings, and on human rights. Listen to me.
He's a jerk, but he's not wrong.
What about Guantanamo? It's still working.
You didn't answer my question, sir. If all of your political opponents are dead, in prison, poison, doesn't that send a message that you do not want a fair political fight?
People rioted and went into the Congress in the US with political demands. And many people were declared as criminals, and they are threatened with imprisonment from 20 to 25 years. We sympathize with what was happening in the States, but we do not wish that to happen in Russia. Tell us, what did you see when you looked at him in the eyes? As far as looking in eyes and finding souls are concerned, well, I actually don't remember that. He talked about his family.
Yes, you're no soul. He has no soul.
Yeah. Doll's eyes.
And what his mother told him. They are important things. Maybe they're not quite relevant.
He was breastfed until last year.
Certainly doesn't imply that we must look into each other's eyes and find a soul or swear eternal friendship.
Wow, dude.
I'm not saying that I found a soul in former Vice President Joe Biden, but I'm really not saying that I did.
If he had soul, I absolutely took it.
It was like looking into eye of retarded Mickle shark.
Yes.
Like, a shark who don't know not to jump out of the water and land in boats, so you eat? That's his eyes.
I've looked into the eyes of many people I've killed, and in their last moments they look very desperate, but not as desperate as Joe Biden just looks in general.
The man who, before I burn alive in car bomb, have more courage than former Vice President Joe Biden.
Yes, I have put, a tire around the neck and covered in gasoline to people who look better at life than him.
Yes. And I only admit because I not fear any accountability. No. Right now. Because,
silly, weak old man. Yes.
Silly, weak old man, yes. Hoppa!
Hey!
By the way, another recent example, I talked about this yesterday. Donald Trump was, people can say, overly complimentary of Putin. I think it's a fair criticism, but he was tough on Russia. And here's the issue. There's a long track record with former Vice President Joe Biden under the Obama administration, who some would argue is still pulling the strings in a lot of ways, if not Kamala Harris, where they claimed they would be tough on Russia, and then they weren't. And then there are plenty of examples where they claimed they were going to be tough on Russia, and then said, hey, the 80s called, they want their Cold War policy back to Mitt Romney. So it was very inconsistent. With Donald Trump, you do have to acknowledge that he was consistently unpredictable. Look, someone who's unpredictable keeps you on your toes. Well, that's what happened.
Yeah. So here's the juxtaposition, right? You have somebody saying, Assad, there's a red line, and if you cross it, it's a red line. He goes, well, okay, I'll cross it, crosses it, and then nothing happens. And then you have a guy like Donald Trump understanding that negotiation sometimes means you can't just say whatever you want, but then you can be tough in your policy.
Well, a perfect example of this tangibly, when we're talking, something that can be quantified because we're talking about policy. What do you think Putin thinks when he just said Joe Biden, former Vice President Joe Biden, got to make sure I get that right. He just said, we're saying that America's back. Okay, well, you shut down the Keystone pipeline here, but then you waived sanctions against Russia's Nord Stream 2.
Yeah.
Their own pipeline in Germany.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, I think we should keep our eyes on both of them.
Agree?
Yeah.
I think the pipeline was a great idea. The gas price is going down right now?
In the realm of human history, 70 years isn't all that long, Germany.
Well, isn't it?
You're still on notice.
And look, they did it twice.
Yeah.
It's not like they don't have a history of sequels.
No.
Isn't there a good keep your enemies closer kind of idea?
I think so.
It's like some kind of like
This is true. This is my philosophy. That's why I use Biden as a footstool. Shut up, Alderman. Aldermans can't talk.
Very close.
I'd have him shine my shoes, but he's no good at nothing.
And these spit glands no longer work. She spits dust like Komodo dragon. Hey, it's time for, with all this context, This Week in Biden.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Okay, so a few things that Biden got wrong here when he was talking at his press conference.
Outdoors, by the way.
Yes. I also love how he put on his sunglasses like 3 times to leave and then came back. Like he was trying to do CSI Miami. Like, I won't get fooled again.
I got fooled
More
again.
questions? Okay.
Dang. The Guess Who?
Again.
It's the Who,
Oh.
Joe. The hell's the difference? It's a huge difference.
It's 2 different things.
So Biden began by saying out loud that he was given a list of reporters to call on. He said this. Here you go.
Okay.
I'll take your questions, and as usual, folks, they gave me a list of the people I'm going to call on. So, Jonathan, Associated Press.
Okay.
Wow.
So comparing this, again, where we're
You don't
talking
say
about
the quiet parts out loud, bro.
That's all he does.
as a position of strength.
Yeah.
Now, here's the issue you would have with Donald Trump. If Donald Trump had been given a list of reporters to call on, and they asked him about it, he would say, no, it's my list.
Yeah. I made it.
Because he understands that you don't want to look like a puppet. No moving. Yeah, make sure you keep an eye on him there, Quarter Black here.
Yeah.
And then
I'm staring right at his Muppet penis.
It's distracting.
Yes.
It's right looking at me.
No, that's good. Keep saying Muppet penis.
That's
YouTube guidelines.
Is that against YouTube guidelines?
No. Muppet penis is perfectly fine.
Oh.
It's creative.
But it's a puppet.
Yeah.
What did I do?
Former Vice President Joe Biden also confused Putin with President Trump.
I caught part of President Putin's press conference, and he talked about the need for us to be able to have some kind of modus operandi where we dealt with making sure the Arctic was, in fact, a free zone.
I mean, it makes sense because he checks under his bed for both.
He's so boring. They put him on C-SPAN 3. I didn't even know there was a C-SPAN.
What's C-SPAN 2? Buffalo Wild Wings Cornhole Championship. It's the Red Bull BMX off a cliff event.
I love how Joe Biden.
That'd be interesting.
He thinks that whatever Putin says is gospel.
Yeah.
Like, do you not understand? He's like, oh, yeah, it's going to totally be a free zone. They got a lot of warships up there, and they're taking our land. But don't worry, he promised.
He said
there's going to be a free zone. Yeah. Good.
By the way, we got to talk about what you did to a masseuse earlier.
Yeah, well, we actually shouldn't because we're well within YouTube.
Okay.
Whoa.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
sorry.
But he also, this is something that's really important here. This is, again, a complete lack of accountability that former Vice President Joe Biden, he lives in a bubble where he is hermetically sealed from any sort of criticism or accountability. It's not that he says this. It's not that he openly spouts a lie. Sort of like, I've used this as a quintessential example because Barack Obama went out and cited the women make 77 cents on the dollar, which was complete lie,
totally
feminism. It's a myth. It's dishonest, and any economist worth their salt will tell you it's completely untrue.
Right.
Because if it were true, I would hire only women.
So would a lot of companies.
I get to pay less and more boobs. It's 2 wins. But it doesn't work that way. And you go, wait, hold on a second. Does Barack Obama not have Google, or does he know that it's a lie?
Right.
And I think now they're just so complacent. They are so comfortable with the media carrying their water that Joe Biden doesn't realize that even the media is going to have to backtrack now and address the lie that he spouts on January 6th and saying that the rioters killed an officer, which we know is not true.
When President Putin was questioned today about human rights, he said the reason why he's cracking down on opposition leaders is because he doesn't want something like January 6th to happen in Russia. And he also said he doesn't want to see groups formed like Black Lives Matter. What's your response to that, please?
My response is kind of what I communicated, that I think that's a ridiculous comparison. It's one thing for literally criminals to break through cordon, go into the Capitol, kill a police officer, and be held unaccountable.
You are fake news.
It is for people objecting and marching on the Capitol and saying, you are not allowing me to speak freely. You are not allowing me to do A, B, C, or D. And so they're very different criteria.
Okay. This is something. If people were to want, if the left were to want a civil war, which God forbid ever happens in this country, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. What you do is tell Americans that what they are seeing, what they are experiencing, at least $2 billion in damages. It's been a year since they've upped the number, since they've updated it. Probably $4 billion when we're talking about the Black Lives Matter riots. Cities burning, dozens of deaths, hundreds of officer casualties, city halls, Walgreens, police precincts being burned, right in front of their eyes, people being shot in autonomous zones that were erected in a complete state of lawlessness, and you say all they were doing was saying that they weren't allowed to speak, as opposed to January 6th, and then you lie and say where someone killed an officer. If you want, this is sort of exactly, if you look at the playbook of people who want to create civil unrest, division within their country. They used to accuse Donald Trump of this.
Yeah.
What you do is tell people that exactly what they're seeing and experiencing isn't so. That's how civil war starts.
Yeah, well, and you're empowering a foreign dictator by saying there's a January 6th riot that happens, and 800 people, I think, max is what they're saying, got out of control out of 200,000.
400 is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, 400 are getting arrested. I think there's more coming from the FBI. But now Vladimir Putin just said, I watched CNN today. They said there was an insurrection. I don't want that here. And so that's why I have a guy in prison. And that's why I'm just... Is that not the story? That's the story of the entire conference for me.
Right.
He's justifying it because you guys are overplaying your hand and saying, oh, it was an insurrection. But burning down the damn courthouse in Seattle over and over and over again isn't.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
How is that possible?
Yeah.
Well, the tactic is actually manipulation and abuse by making people think that what they see isn't actually there and what they remember isn't true.
Right.
It's unbelievable. I can't believe no one is covering that part of the story, saying, "Oh my gosh, they just used this again."
No,
maybe we should walk it back a little bit.
They tried to ask Putin tough questions, and basically it was, so you, former Vice President Joe Biden, you did good. Yeah. Journalism.
Isn't it like if he would have stolen the last election, wouldn't he have done it this time?
So stupid.
And we're, of course, we are not implying that any elections have ever been stolen.
No,
There's
never.
never been any
That
sort of
never
voter
would
fraud
happen.
whatsoever.
Ever.
Amy Klobuchar was wrong. Jimmy Carter was wrong.
Yes.
Can we say Russian?
I'm trying
elections?
to think. Elizabeth Warren was wrong.
Even that's a little
Bernie
iffy.
Sanders was wrong.
Yeah, they were.
There has never been an example of it. I just want to be crystal clear. That was just a joke from Medusa.
Yes.
Can we say that the Russian election was? Is there? Can we say anything about that?
I don't know. It depends on how many YouTube users there are in Russia that day.
Yeah, it's still questionable
Yeah, don't
content.
do
I
that.
wouldn't even.
So
go
here-
there.
We're just staying away.
Here's the next quote where I thought, because we didn't watch all of this live, I thought this was a fake headline. I
Okay.
thought it was like the Babylon Bee. You know, my antenna always go up. I mostly read liberal sources because I want to be informed as to what the other side is saying. So when I read something that seems so mind-numbingly stupid, I say, well, no sitting member of office of our higher halls would say something like that. No, he actually did. So former Vice President Joe Biden, he actually laid out critical parts of infrastructure that were off limits. I think he gave a number later, and I think he said like 16.
16.
16 items. I told Putin that these 16 items are off limits.
I made a list.
I'm going, no president would make a list of 16, implying that everything other than the 16 is not off limits.
Yeah. Dude.
A sitting president wouldn't do that, right? Was sitting, former vice president.
Former vice president.
Believe your lying eyes and ears.
I talked about the proposition that certain critical infrastructure should be off limits to attack, period. By cyber or any other means. I gave them a list. If I'm not mistaken, I don't have it in front of me, 16 specific entities.
And I feel like Putin's sitting over there like this. He's like,
Take some notes here.
Okay, so Bob Evans between 4 and 6.
Okay.
Got it. All right.
He gets
We're
very
clear then.
little.
Puts on his anonymous mask. What a day.
yeah.
Remember.
Yeah.
And whatever.
I would never want you to actually bomb this infrastructure.
I mean, here's the thing, and I understand the left is trying to carry his water, saying, well, no, he was trying to say with those are red lines. Okay, here's my question. Does that mean if you screw with these 16 pieces of infrastructure that are critical, that we go to war? Is that what he's saying?
Right.
Because that's not a red line that Joe Biden will enforce.
Oh, no.
And is he saying, so outside of these 16, they're off limits, but it's not an immediate call to war. Any way you slice it, it's a really bad thing to do.
Right, exactly. And by the way, if you aren't prepared to have some kind of massive force back this up, and you say, okay, look, 16 things, fine. If you go after any of this stuff, this is going to happen. Don't pull what Obama did with Syria. Don't go and say this is the red line and then back off, because Putin will never respect you. He doesn't in the first place anyway.
You meant Libya.
No.
That's right. For people who don't
Syria.
remember, former Vice President Joe Biden confused Syria with Libya.
Lyria.
3 times.
Whoops.
3 times.
And
Lunesta?
once with labia.
Yes. I got it on the brain.
I hear
Victoria's
there's this-
Secret. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. Snake Island, Lesbian Island, there's all kinds of
So
islands.
confusing.
Again, comparing it to Donald Trump.
Pablo Island.
Can anyone say that Donald Trump did anything other than either keep his cards close to his chest or just lie to throw you off?
He played Putin.
That's what he would do. Putin would be like, do you want a glass of water? No, I was born with a genetic anomaly. I don't even need water.
Always hydrated.
Barely need sleep.
Yeah, it's weird. 16.
Totally
Can't do
played
the 16. I don't give a. What about the rest? I don't give a shit. What?
I miss Trump.
Can you imagine like what 17 was? It was like, jeez.
It was AOC's building across from number 16.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Nearly
God,
died.
Like that's 16 and I was 17 and I have PTSD.
Oh,
I almost died. I was in Vermont during 9/11.
17 was Ben and Jerry's.
I was that close to being there. Okay.
Snow, snow, snow. I want to wash my hands, my hair, and face with. Oh my God.
Ben and Jerry's. They've jumped on the bandwagon.
Yeah, they have.
course.
Yeah, it's always
More
nice to
than
find
once.
a short and curly in your pint.
Yes, my favorite flavor is Rudy Tooty Justified Shooty.
No, unjustified shooting, just to be clear.
Unjustified. You're right. I forget. It's still tasty.
Yeah, it still is.
I like commie tears.
Oh, that was.
Now here's what's also really pretty funny. Joe Biden gets really upset about something that should be a compliment in this next clip.
Yeah.
So the person is trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, going like, "Yeah, so you're, and he's like, I didn't say that. I didn't say I was confident. What? So this is where someone asked him about his confidence, and he just says, "No, I never said I was confident.
Yeah,
I suck." Here you go.
Why are you so confident he'll change his behavior, Mr. President?
Yeah, I'm not confident changing behavior. What do you do?
I'm never confident.
When did I say I was confident?
You said in the next 6 months.
What
So
I
indignant
said
about it.
was, let's get it straight. I said what will change their behavior is if the rest of the world reacts to them and it diminishes their standing in the world. I'm not confident of anything.
We're aware.
Hey, well, don't insinuate capability.
Every response he has reminds me of that, like a diabetes commercial where it's like, if I don't take my insulin, I get real short with my family. Like he just gets mad.
Somebody get Joe a Snickers.
Yeah, you're not yourself. And then when he eats a Snickers, he's just as dumb.
Or someone accidentally hands him a Mars bar and he becomes more retarded.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, no, that is just him.
It's like the last scene in Big in his suit.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, let me guess, Baby Ruth.
Someone get the EpiPen. Oh, that's right. The price went up when I came in.
Somebody asked me a question and I got irate.
They said a good thing. I know.
They didn't tell me this would be a part of the job. So you let me know, again, you can comment. What did you honestly, objectively? We got flack for being objective about President Trump with Putin. Yeah. And I said, I don't like Putin. I don't like that he's even seeming complimentary. But if you look, he was harder on Putin. We got upset with him and Kim Jong-un until he walked away with nothing. And people were giving us flack. And you know what? I will say the end net result ended up being better. What do you see? What do you see down the road here? Let us know. And, of course, this has been This Week in Biden.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
What's going on here on CNN? Is that Tubin is on CNN? Oh, my gosh.
Boy.
Oh,
Hey,
Oh, look at his shoulders are so tense.
watching you over there.
Looks like he hasn't relaxed in a while.
no, he certainly hasn't.
That opportunity now to build on it.
Hear how high his voice is?
Yeah. Supreme Court
that's not
leaves
Tubin.
Obamacare.
Is that not Tubin?
That's
No,
not Tubin.
Oh, I thought it was Tubin.
No, like,
Tubin was on like a second ago.
Oh, well, maybe
He was earlier.
Really?
This guy, yeah.
That looks like a larger version.
It does look like it. Can someone bring up a picture of Tubin?
They had Tubin up in this corner, and then that guy had Rip Blum. So it was
Well, that's
really
weird.
Can
Oh,
someone
that's not
bring
a
up
good
a picture
position.
of Tubin so we can put it side by side with this guy? Because I'm not convinced that that's just not Tubin stung by a bee.
This is like somebody that ate Tubin.
Maybe Tubin's allergic to a new kind of KY he bought.
Guys, I'm off camera, right?
Right? No?
Gotta
No.
get the
I
H2O.
told you, Jeff, organic doesn't mean it's hypoallergenic.
Water-based. Water-based.
I thought we were at a commercial.
All right, well, while you guys are finding the Tubin picture, this actually...
there it is. All right, so
Come on, that's just
that's
fat
him.
Tubin.
Really close.
That's just fat Tubin.
They'll probably put those two in the same frame again. In a
If
minute.
they do it, look.
Yeah.
That
Get
guy's
my
like a
attention, I will drop everything.
Yeah.
It'd be like a spot the difference.
His name is Jeffrey Tuba.
It seems like if they were twins, he was the twin who kind of shoved him out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
He's just the Tubin who got more of the
don't like
placenta. I can't. That's not Tubin? Oh my gosh.
I thought right when you went to it, I thought it was Tuba.
Watch, people will say, "Oh, look, fake news." No, I apologize.
Genuinely
I
thought.
got
Fact
that
check.
wrong. I got it wrong.
I just
And they're
think,
talking legal issues, so it makes sense. That's what he comes on to talk about.
Look, I just think all white people look alike, and that's my fault.
Well, come on, let's not act like every
fair.
other CNN
Right.
anchor's weight doesn't yo-yo.
Yeah, that's
It's not like it'd be unfathomable.
no.
I think our statue was...
Finally, by the way, while we're talking about Joe Biden, this hasn't been covered anywhere. He didn't do very well yesterday, and this is after. Keep in context, he cleared the day Tuesday. Basically, did nothing to rest up because he had a really bad day Monday. So Monday bad, Tuesday recoup, Wednesday and I thought Monday was bad. And no one else has been covering this, but we found out that remember the pregnant person's pause?
Yeah.
That happened. That was really long. Well, we know why. There was someone in his earpiece.
Thank you. In a weekend interview, Vladimir Putin laughed at the suggestion that you had called him a killer. Is that still your belief, sir, that he is a killer? And what do you say to Vladimir Putin?
To answer the first question, I'm laughing too. I
am in control room.
Well, look, I mean, he has made clear
That's
that.
right. It's Putin in your ear. Are you scared? You your pants yet? He did it! He really did it!
Shameful.
Man.
I just don't like that he gets one over on our sitting former vice president.
I wonder if he knows his earpiece is that loud.
I don't know. I'm surprised. I'm surprised it doesn't have a 2-foot dial pad.
It's a rotary.
Did it full.
By the way, hey, if you're out there, hit the notification bell because subscriptions don't mean a whole lot right now on YouTube. They don't really work. And we're a live show Monday through Thursday, just at 10 a.m. Eastern. Hey, can we tell them to smash that like button?
Yeah.
Smash it.
Do it.
Smash it.
Smash it.
Smash that like button.
Mash.
There you go.
9.
Speaking of mash, no moving. Tourette's intern.
Watching you, man.
Zip it.
Okay. This is something that a lot of people are not covering, and I want to know if you guys have actually. So you remember that there was a press conference for people. This happened while we were live on air, and sometimes things sort of happen on air. Keep in mind, I'm looking at a small monitor, so I didn't realize how impactful it was, and just the level of the bullshit that was being peddled until I had some quiet time, had a nice cigar, and then went to whitehouse.gov, and I pulled a Biden.
Really?
I shit my pants.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Because it is terrifying. Like I watched a gay TikTok clown.
Yes. Well,
that does happen.
Oh, jeez.
Who, for some reason, has a very elegant home.
Yes.
Yeah, very nice.
That's got to be inherited money.
Good for him.
All that money can't be made accepting applications.
Really depends.
What a horrible person.
I know. I can't imagine.
I'm accepting applications to be gay. What? You're now implying it's a choice. I don't understand. I also don't understand how you're born gay, but you choose your gender.
Well, are you also born a clown? Because that's what they look like.
Also, why the geisha fan? Just pick something.
Stick with it.
It's enough.
Consistency.
They only get away with it because if we had a geisha fan, it'd be front page. It'd be front page. It really matters. They got mad. They got mad yesterday that I said women shouldn't comment on men's sports if they get mad about Charles Barkley, San Antonio.
Yeah. This is the one thing they took from that.
It's the least serious thing I said.
I was on the Drew and Mike show. Mike passed away a little while ago, but Drew's a huge fan of you yesterday.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I know.
Huge fan of you. Great. It's a great show if anybody listens. And he was even reading the stuff that Media Matters has written by us. And I love when somebody's reading it and it's funny in print. It's like, this was what you went for to detract people from watching us?
It's an ad. Every one of those articles.
Yeah,
is
it's
an ad.
fantastic.
Sending people his way, left and right.
All right, so going back to the domestic terrorism. By the way, do you know who the domestic terrorists are?
The number one threat.
Yeah.
Who? Oh.
Yeah, I know you'd think Black Lives Matter, Antifa,
months and months
ISIS,
riots.
sleeper cells, Jihadi John's next door.
Oh yeah.
No. It's the folks with an AR and a pickup truck.
So
here's
those American flags.
Yeah, here's U.S. Attorney Merrick Garland, who I don't like, but I do appreciate the player on this one, that they put it in after this guy was denied.
Yeah.
Merrick Garland, like, all right, we're going to backdoor him in. Like, good play. I'll allow it, but I don't like it. He announced the White House the new plans to focus on domestic terrorism, and specifically, they keep using the term and highlighting the greatest threat to American society, white supremacists. Sure.
The number of open FBI domestic terrorism investigations this year has increased significantly. According to an unclassified summary of the March intelligence assessment, the two most lethal elements of the domestic violence extremist threat are racially or ethnically motivated violent extremists and militia violent extremists. In the FBI's view, the top domestic violent extremist threat comes from racially or ethnically motivated violent extremists, specifically those who advocated for the superiority of the white race.
Okay, I'm glad the clip's over. Look, it's Tubin on TV. That's Tubin. That's skinny Tubin.
See?
Wow, they really just let him right back on.
Yep.
Tell me that he did not look like the other guy whose name I don't even know, who looked like Fat Tubin.
The other guy was Fatter Tubin.
It's like, I don't know which one to shoot. I would never shoot any of them.
With a laser gun. You know.
Just saying, if it was a sci-fi film,
right?
You know, where like metal spiders came up and some bald lady kept going. Ah!
Exactly.
He's got his hockey glasses.
That's come on now. That's Minority Report is just ruined by that woman.
Oh,
the Oracle.
Yeah,
that's what you were referencing.
What was the audition call? Hey, come on in here. Yeah, will you shave your head and can you go? Ah! I don't know. You're hired. Wonderful.
Good job.
Next.
How do you feel about sitting in a moat because Tom Cruise will be next to you? So. I cannot believe that they allowed Tubin back on.
This is a man
With
who
all women.
masturbated in front of his coworkers, and he's talking to 3 women.
Yeah. Let's put him on the show with chicks. This is a good idea. This
Louis
worked last
C.K.
time.
goes near a comedy club, and it's the end of the world. This guy's sitting here giving his opinion.
The truth is, it's pretty much the same thing. Only Louis C.K. asked.
Louis C.K.
there was
had permission.
which is weird. Don't get me wrong.
Right, yeah.
But he had permission.
But not a crime.
Yeah, I thought it was all about consent, man.
Even Janine Garofalo and Sarah Silverman, who are huge liberals, came and defended Louis.
They were like, he asked. Which is still weird.
I mean, I'm not saying. I don't know how I would broach the question. I'd be like, "Hey, you wanna get sick?
Would you like to throw up?
Yeah, you want to see me do something gross?
You're not using that lunch that you ate earlier, are you?
You're fine, right?
Good.
You want to look what's going to resemble an old woman feeding birds?
Yeah.
It's from my act. Sorry, I just look disgusting when I.
Okay.
I caught myself.
So the White House, here's what's also important. The White House released talking points for the new domestic terrorism policy. And I would be playing it down if I said that it's a little concerning.
Yes.
So a senior administration press call from Tuesday included a section that read, one of the things we're talking about is the need to do something in this space, like the see something, if you see something, say something concept that has been promulgated previously by DHS. Did I pronounce that correctly?
You did, yes.
Yes. DHS, yes.
I can never say Pete Daszak properly. Daszak. I don't care. Daszak?
Dashik. Dashak.
Yeah,
Or
Star Wars.
Huh?
Is he Pasaki's cousin?
So this says this involves creating contexts in which those who are family members or friends or coworkers know that there are pathways and avenues to raise concerns and seek help for those they have perceived to be radicalizing and potentially radicalizing toward violence. Oh, sounds a little bit like communism?
Exactly.
Just a little.
Turn in your family members?
That is the most vague. You perceive them to be radical.
Yes.
Or to be tending towards radical.
Now, here's the thing. If that existed in a vacuum, you say, well, okay, they obviously mean terrorists. They mean, like the people who commit the mass, the serious majority of terrorism globally in the name of a political prescription that is Islam. No, because then when you read the entire context at whitehouse.gov, you see them reiterate what they really mean. And this is one thing, too. I think people sometimes are focusing, I don't want to say focusing on the wrong thing, but sometimes they in just discussing critical race theory, it makes people think that it's only a problem that occurs in schools. Right, and this is something I've been pretty familiar with, critical race theory, black liberation theology, and even the differences there. And it's basically just cultural Marxism. Because Andrew Breitbart, while he was alive, and I used to contribute at Big Hollywood, he brought up the video of Barack Obama's professor, Derek Bell.
Yeah.
And talked about critical race theory. This is something that's been going on for a long time. Now, I need you to sort of take that lens, pull it out a little bit. Critical race theory starts with something racist, equity. The goal is not equality. The goal is equity. If someone tells you that we must ensure equity, that person is a racist. And I'll explain what I mean as I read down. That's not hyperbole. So the White House, their fact sheet now that they have at whitehouse.gov, it says, it found that, meaning this report, the most lethal element of today's domestic terrorism threat are racially or ethnically motivated violent extremists who advocate for the superiority of the white race. Okay, hold on a second. Again, we just talked about Black Lives Matter, right? We just talked about these protests. We talked about Antifa. We talked about billions of dollars in damages. Okay, dozens of deaths. I know I'm repeating myself ad nauseum, but just so I drive that point home, now let's take the worst example they have, that you have, the Capitol, what you guys call the insurrection.
Yeah.
Any evidence that was inspired by white supremacy? White supremacists generally don't want to, as you described it, hang Mike Pence. The man is as white as you can. G.I. Joe thinks it's extreme.
Right. Nancy Pelosi, also white. They didn't like her either.
So in other words, what examples can you point to as far as that even is comparable, that it is the single greatest threat? Anything?
That I can't believe that they're actually, with a straight face, making the argument that we need to.
It's whitehouse.gov. Could be a gay face.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's true. I never know. We need to discount the entire year that we just had. In fact, it's a year that Vladimir Putin just said, we don't want Black Lives Matter forming here. Well, what is he talking about? Because apparently that was just the summer of love. If Vladimir Putin can see the coverage and go, wow, that's terrible.
Yeah.
We don't want something like that in Russia. Shouldn't that tell you that maybe you've missed it? Maybe
you know who didn't think it was Summer of
it?
Love? Was it Seattle Police Chief or Portland Police Chief, the black lady? I'm horrible with names.
Seattle?
I believe it was
Chaz?
wherever Chaz was. So I think it might be Seattle. Yeah, Seattle Police
Anyone
Chief.
who's heard of Woodstock?
Yeah.
We all remember Jim Croce stomping a store owner to death.
Right. It's just it's unreal.
And all the Antifa stuff, and even if you just isolate it to Portland,
Yeah.
Just the stuff they've done in Portland alone.
That's a terrorist act I will
Yes.
never understand. You took over 6 city blocks of a major city.
You handed out AR-15s illegally to minors, and this is really it's
Multiple
really
people
hard
killed.
to get me on board with hating an AR-15 story. Congratulations!
Exactly. Yeah, good job. You did it.
You've committed a miracle. Next, the Olive Garden never-ending pasta bowl. I don't know how they do it.
Well, you asked a really good question. How in the world do you think these people were white supremacists? You know why? Because they were Trump supporters. That's the narrative.
That's the connection,
if you support Trump, you are therefore a
they
racist.
handed out
It's the
AR-15s
go-to.
and they shot people.
Yes.
And didn't allow medics to come in and treat the people who were shot.
And they pissed about it.
And didn't the guy who was running the whole thing have like a grant from the government?
He did.
For his studio.
He did.
We're still banned from Airbnb. So this is also on whitehouse.gov, their fact sheet. DOD, DOJ. Well, this thing should be DOA. DOD, DOJ. I
I'm
hate myself.
DOC,
And
Department of Correction.
and DHS are similarly pursuing efforts to ensure domestic terrorists are not employed. So now we've said greatest threat, white supremacists. How many times have they said on CNN, the white supremacist faction of the Republican Party, the Trump faction?
Exactly.
Right?
That's
one and the same. They're going to make sure you're not employed.
Yep.
So a MAGA hat might lead to you. Think of the Black Mirror episode, which actually happens in China, by the way, who we're not paying attention to for some reason. A social credit score. No. That person's a white supremacist. And we all see now that you have what? You have people from the Capitol, January 6th, from the events that happened in the Capitol, who have, this is a fact, no more charges than trespassing, and they've been held indefinitely.
Yeah.
You don't think they'd be willing to lock you up for a Twitter post? Or, at the very least, make sure you can't make a living? You want to act like this doesn't happen right now? This is basically legalization. It's a legal recognition, a legal method, a mechanism to incorporate the cancel mob.
Yeah.
In other words, right now it happens on social media, but they want to make sure that the White House has the final say.
Here's how this phone call would go. Hi, I'm Gerald's brother. He supports Donald Trump because he voted for him. He's a Republican. He went to a Trump rally, and he actually has a sticker on his car that says, support the police. I think you should come get him.
Yes.
All of that would be enough to consider me potentially a radical.
You've been tapping my phone?
Exactly.
Well, I
That's
hope
all it
not,
would
because
take.
then my racial credit score is going to be like 2. I'm kidding.
No, you and Nick
Don't say racist.
You and Nick DiPaolo's Uber.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Well, this is just the dumbest thing imaginable.
It's scary.
It really is scary because it makes no sense.
Well, it makes perfect sense when you understand. Look, it makes perfect sense when you have to take into account. Now, I never want to be in the business of attributing motives. In this case, go to whitehouse.gov, go to the link in the description. If you're on YouTube right now, we provide all of our references, or as young kids say, sources. We used to say references back in the days of bibliographies. Read the whole thing. I'm not attributing motive here. They're very clear about it. Okay, they're very clear about what this is. And let me read the rest to you so you understand the totality, because there's also an association with a foreign entity here, which is a problem when you understand what they're about. Again, keep in mind, the United States is the only place with the First Amendment, and there's no way to just do away with that.
Right.
But there are ways to chip at it.
Yep.
So the United States also joined the Christchurch Call to Action to eliminate terrorist and violent extremist content online in international partnership between governments and technology companies. Now, if that doesn't scare you yet, let me show you Merrick Garland talking about Christchurch in his speech, and then explain to you what they are about in dictating American policy.
The technology sector is particularly important to countering terrorist abuse of internet-based communication platforms to recruit, incite, plot attacks, and foment hatred. Along with more than 50 other countries, the United States has joined the Christchurch Call to Action to collaborate with each other and relevant stakeholders, including tech companies, NGOs, and academics, to tackle the online aspects of this threat.
All right, and you want to know why I'm really pissed off with Republicans, and you want to, the most disappointing thing that ever happened with President Donald Trump is they didn't do anything about the big tech censorship and really a tripopoly. They didn't do it. They had the time. They held hearings. They didn't do anything. Now we're hoping for states like Florida and Texas and other states to hopefully follow suit, because now you see the other guys are in charge, and they're coming for all of it.
Yeah.
You heard him say that, tech companies, and let me read you about the Christchurch Call. This is from their website. Counter the drivers. This is their mission statement, I guess, like Jerry Maguire wrote it at midnight on a laptop. It's a memo. It's a mission statement. Counter the drivers of terrorism and violent extremism by strengthening the resilience and inclusiveness of our societies to enable them to resist terrorist and violent extremist ideologies. What's the greatest among those right now? White supremacy. Who's a white supremacist? Anyone who votes for Donald Trump, including the black ones. I'm looking at you, Candace. Including through education, building media literacy to help counter distorted terrorist and violent extremist narratives and fight against inequality. So that seems vague enough.
Very vague.
Yeah.
Until you go down and you see, oh, hold on a second. Now they're carving it in. Accelerate research into and development of technical solutions to prevent the upload of and to detect and immediately remove terrorist and violent extremist content. Now, let's be clear. What's that? Is that defined as Black Lives Matter? Is that defined as burn a cop car? Is that defined as looting only $949 from Walgreens? Is that defined as shooting David Dorn? We just need, no, of course not. Listen to the New Zealand Prime Minister, I don't know how to say it, Jacinda, I don't know how they say it.
Peter Jackson.
Yeah. Explaining the Christchurch Call back in 2019. Then we'll come back to the States.
I'm on my way to a gathering of world leaders and tech companies and civil society in Paris to promote something called the Christchurch. What happened in Christchurch was unique in one particular way. This was a terrorist act that was designed to go viral. And we're left, therefore, with, I think, a sense of responsibility, a duty of care, to try and, yes, prevent terrorist attacks like this ever happening on our soil again, but to also try and prevent that sharing of terrorist content, of extreme violent content online. So that's what the Christchurch Call is all about. Now, we as a government, we could have simply sat back and within New Zealand formulated our own regulatory response. But social media companies, these platforms, they're global. And so the response needs to be global.
And that is what is so terrifying. They're global, and guess what? They're beholden to other global entities, be them governments or be them partnerships like the Christchurch Call to Action Conference, whatever the thing is called, if I get it right.
The document.
Where none of them have the First Amendment. None of them have the First Amendment. Right. I come from Canada. We actually were about to have a pastor on he's currently in jail for hosting an outdoor service.
Wow.
After some of the restrictions were lifted, but you still couldn't have a service outside.
Right.
People understand, and you'll get people in New Zealand, in Australia, by the way, it was still funnier than Annette, who then say...
Oh, yeah. And she hates tourists for
right.
some reason.
Yeah, apparently.
Tourists.
Who then say that, well, I don't feel like my rights are infringed. You hear that in Canada? You never do until you need them.
Yep. Exactly.
You never feel like your rights are infringed until you try to worship, until you try to say something that's unpopular. The First Amendment doesn't exist for the speech that we all agree is permissible. It exists specifically for offensive speech. And let me be really clear here. People say, well, how do you set up boundaries, right? That's the big psychological term nowadays. The law, call to actual actions of violence are illegal. Threats of violence are illegal. We already have those laws. There is no reason to expand it unless the goal is to control speech, which, by the way, right after adopting the Christchurch Call, New Zealand, they banned the website 8chan.
Wow.
Sorry, the service provider.
Yeah, the service provider for it. Well, they also, if you read that document really early on, they acknowledge that this is going to look like a grab at freedom of expression and freedom of speech around the world. And they're like, no, this is totally not. We understand that you have to be able to do that. And then they define this hate speech thing, right? This word that has no definition. Right. They define it so loosely. It is whatever they say it is. And by the way, I'm not going to go into any details on this, so this is not dangerous territory. Just do a Google search on New Zealand COVID lockdowns. Just look at what New Zealand has done in this last year and a half, and then tell me you want them leading the world's response.
Well, what do you mean? People have to do their own work, don't you, Zuko? Huh?
That's because we can't.
Isn't that your job here? Making them go somewhere else, do their own work.
All right, maybe. Look
What
on
they do?
DuckDuckGo.
What they do there in New Zealand? Huh?
Sheep.
Well,
They
listen,
do
it's
sheep?
tradition. Don't knock it till you tried it.
I said I didn't say anything about
Go
the sheep.
stop
They
right
raised them.
here. It's in a white country.
Flannelin. Very soft.
Why?
Deprecation
is self-humiliation. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. It's
Agreed.
called
I think that's
humor.
in
Well,
the
I
definition.
don't like it. Well, then get off the stage.
Well, you're not funny.
Well, that's your opinion. No, it's everyone's opinion, not named the New York Times.
Right.
So this is also important to know who else has signed on to this Christchurch Call.
Yeah.
Brookings Institution, who, of course, support suppressing speech. Let me read you from Brookings Institution.
Yeah.
On January 6, 2021, President Trump gave an incendiary speech to supporters telling them to fight like hell. So right away, they start with a lie. They don't include the peacefully make your
Right,
voices heard.
yeah.
And then what is the conclusion? What is the call to action here from Brookings? For now, it is vital for social media companies to be vigilant in stopping violent rhetoric and for law enforcement to anticipate and quickly suppress violence before it spreads. That is actual
Anticipate.
Minority Report territory.
It is. Yeah.
It is. Anticipate.
Yes, absolutely, it is.
So how do you anticipate and stop violence before it spreads? What if somebody's out there just making a case that that they like one guy over another guy in an election? Do you need to stop that person because now every one of their supporters is racist and obviously an extremist because they're a threat?
Listen, this is a good question. You have to say, okay, what is the barometer for them? What's the litmus test? Well, they already just showed their hand in that Donald Trump saying fight like hell. And we showed you guys a video where pretty much every single member of Congress, the Senate, has used that in some speech at some point, at least hundreds over the last decade. And they want you to believe that that is a call to, break through a window and not kill any officers at the Capitol.
Yeah.
And by the way, to go to the Alex Jones thing, this was also circulating this week. And you guys know I've had Alex Jones on the show. I probably disagree with Alex Jones on more than I agree with him. And frankly, sometimes I think that he's danced on the line, and I've talked about that. But because people who always say, oh, that person went over the line when they're talking about cancel culture, until eventually that line comes for them, I've just always drawn that line that unless it's against the law, you have to permit it. They tried to spread the rumor that, Alex Jones was in direct communication with the White House, so they planned the Capitol insurrection.
Right. And paid $500,000 to do it.
Right.
One story, too.
Yeah, of course, because they're going to trust Alex Jones with that.
So I didn't mean to cut
Listen, Alex, can you keep your mouth shut? No, everyone knows that about me, President Trump. There's no possible way.
He's got the bullhorn.
Listen, if this money comes with any strings attached that I need to not tell everybody, that's going to be a problem. The frogs are gay! White Silver. But there's footage of Alex Jones saying, stop. They want you to do this. Go away from the Capitol. He was on our show and said it was one of the worst days of his life.
Yeah.
Because even if you can draw an association between the White House and Alex Jones was not there encouraging violence.
No.
But the media doesn't tell that half of the story. So for sure, they would put Alex Jones on a list to be unemployed, to be on a terrorist watch list.
Do we not have lawyers in the United States? Is there not someone who's an adult that can be specific about what these things mean? Are we just going to have laws that are so vague that they can't be enforced or they can just be abused whenever they want?
Yes.
Can you please
they're taking notes
be
from YouTube.
specific with your feedback?
No, they will not be specific. Other supporters, by the way, include the Dangerous Speech Project for the Christchurch Call and Life After Hate. And let's go back to the whitehouse.gov, the coup de grace here, which, how do you say that in Greek?
Huh?
Lesbo.
I'm sorry, I was just stuck on Life After Hate.
Yeah.
I didn't.
What is that even?
Does it mean anything?
It sounds like a Hillary Duff PSA.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. Remember when she said, she did that PSA? She's like, when you say that's gay, do you know what you say?
Yes.
Why don't you tell me?
Then she shames the girl. She's like, well, what if I called that dress skinny gross bitch? And you're like, this isn't.
You're like,
this is just you mocking her for something else.
Hillary
Duff.
really changed since she started lifting weights.
I know. Wow.
I prefer the sister with the schnoz.
Take them feets back to Nickelodeon.
The coup de grace White House agenda, again at whitehouse.gov. It shows direct influence from Christchurch. Look, this is what they say here. Every component of the government has a role to play in rooting out racism. Okay. And bigotry. Now we're getting into really vague territory.
Yeah.
And advancing equity for all Americans.
I have an honest question.
Yeah.
Is racism illegal?
It's, that's a good question. I think we all agree that racism is abhorrent, but no.
It's not a crime.
No.
Like, I think it's wrong.
Otherwise, Tariq Nasheed would be locked up. You're right.
Maxine Waters
would be locked up.
For crying out loud.
So why are there so many laws based on a thing that's not a crime?
Right.
Dave,
now,
you bring
what
up
is
a
a
really
crime?
good
That's a very good point.
Wow.
You know what is a crime? Assaulting someone because of their race.
Yes, it is.
Murdering someone. But here's the beauty. It doesn't need a footnote.
No.
Hate crime is just a backdoor. And it's like, oh, murder is the crime.
That's the main one. Yeah.
Do most murders happen because you love someone?
No, generally not.
I don't think you need to throw the hate in the definition. I
Every
think
now
it's
and
implied.
then with a model. Selena, she really liked Selena.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not mocking it. It's just she's she's like, I love you so much, I gotta kill you.
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
people do that.
They do, but
no one in this room.
No.
No, but you're absolutely right. It's not illegal. So that's also why it's important. They say every component of the government has a role to play in rooting out racism. First off, it's not illegal. It's horrible, of course.
Yeah.
We have an incredibly diverse group of people here. If they were rooting out racism, we'd be skimmed over like we painted lamb's blood on the top.
Why would you want
We
to
have Koreans, we have Japanese, we have black people, we have everyone, Latinos. It makes me uncomfortable.
Of all the countries, you're choosing the melting pot to be the racist
Right.
one. It
I
makes
know, yeah.
no sense.
And the word equity. Look, this is something
yeah.
people, that is for everything. For critical race theory. Because what is critical race theory? You have to look at the end game. The end game is 1619. The United States really only started with slavery.
Right.
Therefore, we need to rectify that and ensure equity. Equity it's a synonym for equal outcomes.
Yep.
That's exactly what it is. And here's the thing. You cannot have equality of opportunity. It's not possible. Equality of opportunity and equity. It is one or the other.
Yeah.
Let me explain to you why. If you say, oh, well, we need 25% of Harvard admissions to be black. You go, well, there aren't enough who have this SAT score. And look, there's this Asian. No, got to be 25%. You are now forbidding equality of opportunity when you set quotas, when you say that there has to be a guaranteed percentage. Look at the lawsuits with Asian Americans. I believe it's Harvard Brown. There are a few going on right now. That is an example of guaranteed equity. It is racism by definition because it excludes people based on race. And the government is saying white supremacy is a threat, and we are going to try and guarantee equity with every component of the government.
Do you know what that means? That doesn't just mean government agencies. That means if you do business with the government or you supply a business that does business with the government, their hands reach all the way down and all that. You're not fighting the way we want you to fight this problem of racism in the country. We're no longer doing business with you. Your government contracts end this year.
Yeah.
Well, equality would be giving everybody the same chance, not lowering the bar.
Well, no, Thomas Sowell,
or setting different bars for different people.
Yeah, that's
taking the bar away from
That is
people.
racism.
Yeah.
Is every component of government going to root that out?
Yeah. Thomas Sowell has a really good point on this. He says, look, if you can't guarantee equal outcomes for siblings that are in the same house with the same parents, with the same opportunities, how can you possibly do anything in the world when it's not nearly that comparable?
Right.
You can't do it.
This happened. I mean, Troy Jr., statute. You went to NYU or was it Columbia? That's okay. You can. Was it NYU or Columbia? NYU. It was a test. Shut up! I can't believe it. He's the worst statue ever.
You double
Get back in position.
We'll chalk it up to Tourette's.
Changing of the guards.
I thought he had it. I thought you had it.
Close, dude.
That's
You're
actually
close.
total.
No,
he didn't even hear the question. It was just all Tourette's.
He just, that's what he does. It's an odd tick. He goes, NYU actually was a NYU.
Oh boy.
Like I knew a kid in high, and funny enough, he was also.
I know a kid that doesn't need to go to college. It's my son.
I knew a kid who had Tourette's in high school. He was also Asian, and he convinced girls that his thing was grabbing asses.
Oh, that's yeah.
But it only happened when the attractive girls came by.
I used to do a thing called a guy I knew used to do a thing called lip arm when he was like 15, and I'd just be in the middle of a conversation, just grab a breast, and I'd be like, I have no control over this. Go on. But it was my friends. They all thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Sensual.
My hand has a mind of its own.
I'm like, this isn't me. You just have to let it do its thing.
No, that's my love hand.
Pre-Devon Sawa idle hands, or
it's probably where I got it.
Yeah,
it was still fun to do.
Yeah, it's still fun. It only works if you looked like Devon Sawa in '97.
That's a good thing. Oh, this was pre.
Okay, all right. Well, then Devon Sawa, he lifted
stole
your
from
bet.
me.
Yeah.
I was doing this since '95.
That and the parted down the middle.
I had that too.
That thieving son of a bitch.
Me,
hey, by the way, if you're watching this live right now, hit the share button because sharing is caring. That means you can share it on Facebook, on Twitter, and it just
Share
really
with pride.
It grinds the gears of people at big tech because it puts it right at the top of the live feed.
I love it. Share it.
Oh, by the way, it's time to go. Actually, I guess we really quickly we have to talk about one of our sponsors. We have a video here. Wonderful sponsor, Spartan Armor, on the range. I'm about to shoot stuff and blow it up. All right, we're about to test out the new Spartan armor plate, the Hercules Level 4. And the reason Spartan created this plate is that a lot of those out there, the competitors, they'll say they're 10 by 12, but they don't really cover the whole area. So Spartan Armor wanted to design a plate that truly covers 10 by 12, Level 4, so I believe 30-06 armor-piercing rounds. It's approved up to that, but we're just going to be using the basic scary black rifle AR-15 today to see if it holds up to it. And let's see if my half-Asian lawyer was right to not be shot live in the studio with the plate. He thought that was ill-advised. Hey, don't try this at home unless your home is a range, but do use the promo code Crowder at SpartanArmorSystems.com for 10% off. Crowder, 10% off, and look at that. That's like that's less tattered than Brendan's jeans. He bought them that way. Yeah, look at this thing. Good, and we have a full segment coming out where I shot this thing.
We shot a bunch of stuff.
Is that the one you shot?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Well, you can see because one time I accidentally shot it in the side here, and it still didn't go through.
Oh wow, that's cool.
But I shot it. I shot it wrong in the side, and it just kind of went in and got lodged. Now I'm not saying it's not gonna feel like a pillow fight.
Yeah.
But you'll still be alive. Yeah, you can't even see all the handgun stuff. The only thing you can see is where I had horrible aim with the rifle.
Oh, nice.
And you can just go to SpartanArmorSystems.com, use a promo code Crowder, you get 10% off.
Oh, nice.
That's what I'm wearing right now, just because I didn't want to be nude today. I said I better either put on nipple pasties or is it pasties or pasties?
Did you have like
pasties is the northern Michigan dish that people used to use in the
It's
mine.
basically a hot pocket.
Yeah.
You don't want to put those on your nipple.
No, that's a wrong.
You don't want to pull a Cuomo. Come on.
Childish.
What's he doing? A sexy dance, I think?
Get pasties.
Just deer meat rolling down.
Just stringy hot cheese.
Old venison nips.
Clamp it.
Just in the mine, just blow it up.
Don't wait for me.
So he's got a rolled up dollars, just like, oh.
Right.
I guess. You have change.
Yeah.
It is true. For people out there, you guys, people who are from Michigan, especially northern Michigan, if you guys know, do you guys know what pasties are?
No.
It's basically sort of like a meat pie hot pocket.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it was what the miners used to use. And you can just leave that there, and I'll grab it a little after. I'll grab it after.
Yeah,
you can just leave it on the floor
leave
or
it.
something. Yeah. Or if you want to bring it in.
Just bring it in.
Hand it over here. Thank you.
Not in costume.
Thank you. She's out of costume. All right.
Get out of here.
And keep your complimentary comments to yourself, YouTube comments.
Disgusting.
Jerks.
Even the nice comments are just gross.
There's a lot of lonely men out
But
there.
pasties, the first time you have it, it really is. It's just you will not taste anything for a month.
Oh, no, it just burns.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
It's basically
point of this?
like the miners in northern Michigan. People out there, come on, you got to tell me. I think Jenny's is a place in northern Michigan. It's like famous for pasties. It's just they put in like rutabaga, meat,
Right
carrots.
in the UP, yeah.
in the UP, and it was what they would use when they were mining. It was just like a pocket of food,
Just
like the
meat?
original Hot Pocket.
And you couldn't taste for a while after?
Well, because when
the
you
burn,
first try
it
them, it just
burns.
burns. It stays hot for so long.
Yeah, you don't
Hot
realize
Pocket, man.
it.
Pick it up.
I thought it was like spice hot. Not
No. They wouldn't even put onion in there.
Yeah, like they must have a special oven, which is why they still exist.
Right.
They're like, well, we inherited this; it's all we can make.
Yeah.
But they give it to you, and it doesn't feel hot.
Until you bite
Boy,
it.
you take that bite, and you're just like, oh, it's going to look like I have herpes for the next month. Because my face is on fire.
Gonna sound like the elephant.
And because I have herpes.
Well, that's true. Yeah, you're like, oh, I've been eating all these pasties. You want a kiss?
I am not an animal. I just ate pasties.
They're not a good driving food either. I found that out.
No, they are not. What you would think.
Flip the car.
Pocket.
The pocket is why I bought it, and now I'm like, well, my seat's ruined. These jeans I might as well throw away.
My car's upside down.
All right, Dubin.
Yeah.
Not that some of them are the
you
worst.
beat me to it. Very good, Gerald. Hey, by the way.
Oh, you're supposed to eat it?
All right, Jason Biggs. We get it. This is
American bastard.
Oh, it burns! One time at pasty camp. So, this is actually, we have our statue here. Keep it, hold it, commitment. Remember, body control, stay in neutral. A lot of people don't realize this, actually. That statues that in ancient Greece, they actually had very strong views. This is not a joke, about the male genitalia.
Right.
And culturally, this had a strong influence over society. Yeah. So here to explain it to us, actually, is Professor Penis. Okay, well, Professor Penis, thank you for being here, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
And just to be clear, you are an actual scientist. You studied this.
Yeah, yep. I'm a scientist of penis and penis-related sciences.
Yeah. Okay. So, listen. This is and thank God back then there was no affirmative. He got it on his merit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. Can you set this up for people who don't know the Greek historical actually the context of how they viewed penises? Because a lot of the statues everyone has noticed they're relatively they're small.
They're petite.
They're little,
petite.
So
Okay.
this is actually as you mentioned, this is considered one of the greatest anthropological and art history kind of anomalies. So the Greeks, everyone knows they were on top of the world. They view themselves very highly. So why did they depict their genitalia as so small?
Right.
It seems contradictory.
Yeah, it did. That's exactly what I thought.
As you can see, right?
Right. Yes.
But actually, it wasn't.
No. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Hold this,
bringing a whiteboard here. And you know what? Actually, I'm going to aim this at you a little more because I want people to. This was fascinating when I found out about it.
Yeah.
You just realize not all cultures, they really aren't the same.
No.
Cool.
And not all are equal.
Very deep, yeah.
So as you can see here,
Diverse.
the Greeks, just by simple observation, they noticed the more erudite and intelligent one was, the smaller, so this actually goes up here, so it's low.
Yeah.
Okay.
High IQ, the
and
smaller
length.
one's penis was.
So they believe that a small penis was a sign of being sort of part of the intellectual,
upper class,
aristocratic
intellectual,
status.
correct.
Yep.
And so as you got, larger here, you were more, barbarian-like.
That's what they believed.
I don't want to be rude, but, it's kind
Actually, larger penises in ancient Greek was more representative of animalistic lust. So it was more representative of animals. For example, the satyr and the overlay here.
Yeah, thanks. I was going to get to that statue. He's... Okay, correct. What he said, yep. All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so we have that. So that was just simple observation, but when we revisit history and we actually combine that
this is the Greek history.
Yeah, so this is Greek history.
And our sources are available at loudofcolor.com.
And when we remeasure this now using modern instruments and science, we find the same thing. The higher your IQ is, in modern day, the smaller your penis is.
And what's that green graph at the bottom?
Oh, this is just outline. Outline
there's like
data.
little dots. Is that like pubic hair?
That's just points that weren't graphed.
Okay.
Like data points?
Those are just data points. That are just
I don't know that I understand the historical accuracy here. It is true that the Greeks believed that obviously it was a sign of being erudite,
Sure.
but I don't know that it's scientific to say now that smaller penises indicate higher.
Well, this is. We measured. This is all using the scientific method, and this is all real measurements.
I don't know that you did. I don't know that there's a correlation between a smaller penis and a higher IQ.
Well, are you involved in the sciences or?
I'm not involved. I'm just wondering.
I'm just saying. Yeah, this is real measurements.
Is this why my Greek friends call me the dumb beast?
I'm not entirely sure.
Could be, yeah.
I'm not sure.
We could have you in the lab if you want to come by. We're always looking to add to the studies.
Yeah, bring in him and Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, we can get everyone. If everyone in the studio wants to come by, we can all add.
Yeah, but I don't think so because I think you're just going to say that everybody's dumb. I don't know who funded the research. If this is
they're always working pretty hard.
The Penis Institute funded the research.
Yeah,
okay, well,
Global Penis Institute.
And let me ask you this, Professor: were you a part of this research?
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm a scientist, so I.
Okay, so you subjected yourself to and what did you?
Well, I'm a bit proud to admit that I have statistically one of the most average penises ever recorded.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Professor Penis. I don't think this is productive anymore. Professor Penis, everybody.
They really were about the motion of the ocean, weren't they?
Yeah. Yes,
I mean,
they
like
were.
literally during battle and such.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being the Greeks and you're like, guys, we got a real problem here. Let's make it sound good that they're all small.
See,
how do we do that?
We're real smart, guys.
Let's tell everybody Joey's an animal.
Yeah. Also, we need to come up with a reason for the long weekends.
Yeah.
We're at war. I can't with you, sweetheart. I'll lose all my powers.
But what else were we supposed to do? We were on a ship for almost 2 weeks.
Yeah. What, am I going to go on a Labor Day weekend siege and not have sex with Kyle?
Come on, what?
Why it's bonding time.
Why
don't
even
understand
bring Kyle? He's the smartest guy I know.
This is Sparta nightclub.
Hey, where are the people who were fighting? Oh, I guess they didn't show up.
Oh, my gosh.
no.
Oh, whoa, good lucky draw. Well,
I guess we'll do other stuff.
we've just got this romantic fireplace and all this mead.
What are you going to do?
I mean, we're here.
Not a woman for miles.
Look at all this. Look at all this wine. Who wants to get loose?
Us and all just a couple of hundred guys with some mead, a fireplace, and small penises. What? Oh, what?
So you're saying,
the motor on the boat died. We don't have motors yet. Oh, that's even worse.
One guy's like, I brought Scrabble. No, you didn't.
Nope, didn't happen.
Fireplace in the mead.
All right, guys, just cutting the sails.
But what about the body oil? Is the body oil necessary?
They're middle night pirates. Yeah.
Who knew?
That's it with old Persians. That's it with these Persians.
Oh, rapscallions.
Talk out of me. Oh, okay. Hey, speaking of gay, Victoria's Secret. This is something, and we're gonna go to. I guess we're running pretty well. You know,
let's have fun. Who cares?
We should still do it. Okay.
All right.
You're saying still do it here on YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Then we'll do the other segment on Mug Club because there's no way we could do that on YouTube.
No way. No.
Now, okay. First off, let me get a sip of water here so you guys can hold the fort. I'm very dry mouth.
So we're going to talk about
watch this
something not sexy now?
Just okay. So the Victoria's, it's just this is going to be very upsetting to me.
Yes.
The Victoria's Secret Angels, they're not going to be a thing anymore, and they haven't done a damn thing to anybody.
Yeah. They're just beautiful angels.
They are just, yes.
Yeah.
Their feet hurt from falling from heaven, not diabetes, which is what they're going to replace them with.
Yeah.
Yes.
True.
At Victoria's Secret. So they're claiming they're no longer going to have a stereotypical model look.
They're going to be real
like
angels
pretty.
a lot earlier.
Yes. Because these days, it's all about inclusion. The New York Times published an article on this change in branding, and they interviewed new Victoria's Secret angels. So there's soccer player Megan Rapinoe is the... I didn't know who she was.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. We're
Yeah,
going to
she's
that.
a soccer player
going
that
from the
can't
right
play.
to the left.
Cool.
As well as Victoria's Secret Chief Executive Martin Waters. Okay, let me read you a few highlights, and let me explain to you why everything that this new exec thinks is incorrect. Okay?
Yeah.
A lot of people out there think like, oh, I just go to Victoria's Secret because it makes me feel cute. Man, it's only for myself. No, you're wrong. Everything that you think about Victoria's Secret is wrong, and don't take this away from me. So Martin Waters said, we need to stop being about what men want and to be about what women want. That's not how lingerie works, for the exact same reason that my wife greenlights my underwear. She's the only one who's going to see them.
Yes. They're not comfortable.
Lingerie is not for you. That's the thing. Like, if you were left, if it was just about comfort, why would you be wearing a crocheted thong?
That can't be comfortable.
And cutting the lawn. Do what I tell you, woman.
I need some entertainment.
We need to be about what women want, which I could understand. No, I couldn't. But I think that I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I would have initially if it was we want things that are more comfortable for women, but also sexy. No, that's not it. Now you understand why they want to go the route of oversized lesbian, because that's the key mark. I think we're getting a little esoteric in our marketing. I don't know how Don Draper would respond to this.
They make sweatpants, though, that say pink. That's for the comfort days.
Right, but
what's wrong with a woman wanting to feel pretty for a guy?
Hold on, Dave. Where's the pink?
Well,
where's the word pink?
The word pink is across the butt.
Okay, all right. So it could have been down the leg, but they chose not to put it there. They chose to put it somewhere else. And when you read things, do you typically look at them?
But why did they put the pink where the stink is?
It doesn't make any sense.
Come on,
it's true at all.
For something
Dave,
else.
Stop it. Yeah. So
what?
the
Nobody's heard
sweatpants may
that?
be comfortable, but they're totally for the guys as well. Come on.
Yeah, let's be honest.
So juicy.
Makeup is also not always. Now I understand that women enjoy these things. However,
of course,
specifically, now we even go from makeup, the rouge on the cheeks, right? That's to stimulate, and lipstick, stimulate the flushing that happens during a sexual encounter. That is why it is sexually attractive. Why are we attracted to birthing hips, large breasts? These are biological evolutionary mechanisms that women have dressed to try and accentuate in different ways throughout history.
Yeah.
The reason that heels exist because they actually tone and shape and lift the buttocks, and men have none of that. We don't have any of those things. As a teenager, we got a zit. You're going to see it.
And I think heels were invented by a man. It's like, let's make their breasts look a little more pouty and make it hard to run.
Yeah. Then tell them they can
catch them.
Then tell them they can be secret agents and strong as a man.
Yeah. Fantasy.
There you go. Yeah, it'll be Jason Bourne in stilettos. Okay. So then Miss Rapinoe, the lesbian soccer player who speaks for the majority of American women now.
Apparently, yeah.
What could go wrong with this move? It was, Miss Rapinoe said bluntly, talking about the previous Victoria's Secret brand, patriarchal, sexist, viewing not just what it meant to be sexy, but what the clothes were trying to accomplish through a male lens and through what men desired. And it was very much marketed toward younger women. And that message was harmful. You know what else is marketed to young people? Everything. Everything but gold, depends, and reverse mortgages. Let's be clear. All video games, all athletic wear, all sporting equipment. This is why that's the most valuable demographic, because young people tend to spend money on stupid shit. Old people either are smart enough to realize they don't need said stupid shit, they don't have room for said stupid shit, or they like the way said stupid shit looks, but they can't do anything about it anyway. That's why everything is marketed to young people.
What do they think is going to happen if you put somebody in charge who apparently lesbians don't care about the looks of the other? It's going to end up being like J.C. Penney's. Like, we already have that. Granny panties are already a thing. You don't need to do that.
You know me.
J.C. Penney's here because of me.
Yay. Exactly. Like
this lady. Same with the trucks. Those are marketed maybe, to lesbians and young men who are going to use those trucks to take the mannequins from Victoria's Secret rolling out. Oh,
well, they're going to take last year's model.
Yes.
Is that the new Plus? You can keep that.
Is this the?
Not going to need it.
I don't need the first iteration anything. You work out the kinks.
So it's going to be great. Yeah, there one lady's carrying out an old mannequin. There's 9 guys carrying in the new one.
Like Gaston trying to break the beast castle. Yeah. Kill the beast! Oh.
Do you want this in the window? Because you're going to need a much bigger window.
Yeah, we're going to have to bust out this wall.
You're going to need a window like an Apple store.
Yeah.
Do you guys have like a piano mover thing? We need that.
Yeah, and I don't know what to... Anyway, okay.
These are the fatty Arbuckle jeans.
Yes. Megan Rapinoe, then but this lady is the villain.
Yeah,
this lady is not because she's a lesbian, because she doesn't understand. Just, you're ruining things.
She's a lesbian. She should totally get why we want to look at that.
No, no. Look, if that made sense, then they're attracted to the wondrous beauty and all the splendor that is woman, and then they pick a woman who smashes beer cans on their head and shouts at Orvis.
Right, that's true.
Yeah, you know what Victoria's Secret was
drives an avalanche.
Right. Yeah. You know what Victoria's Secret was missing all this time? An Eddie Bauer.
Yeah.
So Megan Rapinoe
one pair of work boots.
These jeans have a lifetime warranty. They do at Eddie Bauer. That's not a joke.
No, nice.
At least they used to.
Impressive.
As a gay woman, I think a lot about what we think is sexy. And we are afforded the ability to do that because I don't have to wear the traditional sexy thing to be sexy.
Yes, you do.
And I don't think the traditional thing is sexy when it comes to my partner or people I've dated. I think functionality is probably the best thing we could possibly achieve in life. Possibly the sexiest thing we could achieve in life. If that were true, your best bet at getting laid would be old sweatpants and a hockey helmet.
Take your girlfriend or wife out to a nice dinner in a Looney Tunes t-shirt. It goes both ways.
Or one of those wolves howling at the moon that she got at a come and go.
Yeah. That she got next to the pasty shop
Right,
in Northern Michigan.
And a radar detector.
Yeah, exactly. Trust me, it goes both ways. There's a way to present yourself at certain times, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, absolutely nothing. And look, here's the beauty. If you don't want to wear Victoria's Secret or lingerie, there's everything else.
Yes.
Just don't.
You're looking for not sexy things? There's plenty of those. We've seen you wear them before.
Yeah. Have you heard of Dillard's? The name is sort of self-explanatory, but it's very unsexy. We believe you'll be pleased.
Yes.
You just walked past Spencer's Gifts to get here.
I can tell because you have one of those plasma balls in your bag.
Yeah. You turned it off.
I knew you were either a fortune teller or an asshole.
Well, look, by the way, you made a great point. We talked about this before the show. We don't want the porn that is the angels right now to continue,
there's a middle ground.
There's a middle ground here. Like, we don't want, 15-year-old kids, that's all you need. That's porn to them.
Right.
They don't need anything else.
Yeah, keep it inside the shop. You show the stuff that's kind of sexy outside. In other words, it shouldn't go any further.
Canada.
It shouldn't go any further than, oh, no, you don't know what Montreal is.
No, not Canada.
Our biggest sign is
that's
for
what I'm
Club
saying.
Super Sex.
We don't need to be Canada.
At this point, though, porn is porn to them.
It's true.
Well, no,
you know what I mean? It's so available.
No way
I don't
to
think
avoid
that
it.
there's anything wrong with. There's really nothing wrong with any male or female sexuality. There
isn't. But I understand what he's. I
get what. I get what he's
saying. Or a 14-year-old's face.
I get that. Yeah.
Keep it to bathing. Arnold was stopped at the border when he came with a Muscle magazine.
Yeah. Because they thought it was porn.
They thought it was porn. I'm just saying, keep it to swimsuit marketing.
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, we all know that the Sears wish list catalog when we were kids, that was. They had the whole lingerie section.
They did.
That was enough.
Well, it was. Then it was real. Your mom would be like, "What do you pick out the items that you want?" Like it was a Scholastic book fair, and she'd be going through the Sears Wish catalog, but she'd turn it over, and it was like a limestone tablet, 4 pages, where just.
Oh yeah. Well, it was like the swimsuit issue before they decided to put dudes in it.
Yeah. So Paloma Elliser, saw part of her role as lobbying for Victoria's Secret to increase. This is a quote, to increasing its sizing to XXXXXXXL.
What?
So Victoria's Secret selling tarps. What is that? Yeah, you know what would really good. Let's do away with the pink. Let's do away. How about a nice lacy Free Willy hammock? Let's make that.
I think the tag should say Barnum and Bailey.
Oh my gosh!
Why?
She didn't look that size.
No, she didn't look that size at all.
Not at all.
No,
I
she
thought
just
she
wants
was
to
quite
score
pretty.
some points.
Yeah, she just wants the
look. People want to feel sexy at all kinds of sizes. You guys missed my joke of the killing a cheetah the other day from Road Trip.
Yeah, good for you.
That sometimes big ladies want to wear.
Okay, look, I told you were doing well. Don't go and explain a joke from 3 days ago.
That's true.
I'll keelhaul you.
That's true. Yeah.
You're already doing great as Zuko.
Yeah. Which, by the way, XXXXXL. One more X, you're dead.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're dead.
Just the X's are over the I's.
Yeah, one more X only comes in coffin sizes.
But this is also, and look, we're going to go to Mug Club here in a second. You guys, if you're watching on Rumble, you can smash the Rumble button. You can let them know to smash the Rumble button. And smash, of course, the like button if you're on YouTube. Leave a comment what you think about Victoria's Secret. It's destroying everything I love, sucking my will to live.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. There are still other places. But here's the deal. This is a lie to young women. Now, I don't think that young women, 15-year-olds, have any business going and buying lacy thongs. I think this is something we've talked about. There's an age-appropriate factor, okay? Yeah. And just like we've talked about, I don't think that you should be thrusting women in thongs in front of every 12 to 15-year-old child. But I also don't think that you should have pubic lines at Hollister. And I don't understand why when you're in the guys section, it's naked guys on the posters, and the women in the women's section switch. But the point is, this is a lie to young women saying you don't need a man to be happy. And if you find a man, you don't need to make him happy. You shouldn't. We've now gone further with you shouldn't want to make him happy. Do you know who basically dresses me? My wife, because I don't give a rat's ass. Why? Now, here's the thing. Obviously, if I pick something that I want to wear, I have control of my own body. We all do.
Right, yeah.
But any man here who has a wife, would you continually wear something that your wife hated? If she's like, I just think that I think you look like crap.
I like to go to Abercrombie and see the DJ play underneath a gigantic poster of two men playing shirtless football in the rain.
Yes. Yeah. I kid you not. I went to Hollister because my wife was like, try this on. I tried on something. The way she looked at me, I bought 3. Okay? I will never, ever shop there again.
She was looking at the poster over your shoulder, but now you have 3 shitty shirts.
Yeah.
It looked like it was you. It's just right there.
Past me. I was like, I misread that.
Yeah, it's just,
Can I get out of the Hollister Club?
No, but seriously, none of us would wear anything because we want to please our wife for the same reason that when you are in a loving relationship, you find a middle ground when it comes to dinner. And you look, with a man, guess what? Dr. Laura was right about this. I'm always amazed when people would get mad at her. She was canceled because she repeated someone else saying the N-word, right? Remember years ago. Feeding means a lot to a husband. It's not that it's expected of you, it's what we demand, but guess what? It's a way that we receive love. Men, they receive sex actually as a sign that you find them attractive, that you find them desirable. It means a lot to a guy when they're married. This is something that a lot of women need to understand. Tenderness, warmth. And what have we said? No, you don't need those things. What, we're expected to be docile? No. It's just an attractive quality in a woman to a man for the same reason that lingerie panties are and for the same reason that you like tall guys or people who you believe can provide for you. These things are attractive. And when you tell young women, actually, you should recreate everything you are in the image of a soccer-playing lesbian, and then they wonder why no one but soccer-playing lesbians are interested in them, and then their window has closed and their eggs don't work. Guess what happens? They become miserable, and they are in an exclusive demographic at a higher risk of psychological disorders. You realize the number of women over 35 who identify as having some kind of an actual mental illness? It is skyrocketed.
Yeah.
It is, and it's just a lie to women, and it's a lie that many young women don't figure out until it's too late. I'm not saying, and I'm very clear, I'm not saying that women should find pride in just how they look. That's why I have a problem with fat pride. But I am saying that if you lie to women and say, you're not wearing laundry, you're doing it for yourself. Well, it's not true. Then you just wear sweatpants and a Jaffa helmet. Like, it really is not true. It's a lie, and it's going to make people miserable.
Yeah, absolutely. And you basically just told them to be completely self-centered.
Right.
Just do whatever you like is totally fine. It doesn't matter if your husband likes it or not, or the guy that you're trying to date likes how you dress or not. It just matters if you like it. Now, there's a middle ground, right? You don't need to be a hoe, right, and go out wearing terrible things. But you also can't go out dressed like a hoodlum and think that people are going to find you attractive if, as a woman, you're wearing nasty clothing. Not that,
We've told young women now, go out in public like Lizzo. Go out in public like Cardi B, and dress, to use your word, like a hoe. Go out and show it all off, but in the confines of your own home, make sure that none of that is being done to please your husband. Great message. Let's see how that works out. I think our Tourette's statue might have to get going, so we'll let him go for the Mug Club segment. YouTube, thank you. Kind of next week, Cultural Appropriation Month. Ooh. Guess what? Thursday? It's California. Because it is no longer part of the United States. I've just declared it. YouTube, piss off.